Before we get onto the video, a quick message for all my subs. Now, there's a huge problem on YouTube where some of my subscribers do not get to see my videos when I upload them. I don't exactly know what's going on YouTube. You know, there's always a problem on YouTube, but it's happening to other YouTubers as well. Even some of my subs message me saying, yo, some of my videos do not appear on your subscription box, subscription feed. So what I want you guys to do is click on the notification bell next to the subscription so you guys would get notifications when I upload a video. But the algorithms on YouTube right now are just messed up, so you know, it's no surprise some of my videos would not show up on some of you guys' subscription box. You know, there's something definitely going on. So this is the only thing I can tell you guys to do right now if you don't want to miss out on any of my videos in the future. So definitely hit that notification bell. I would appreciate if you do it, but let's get on to the video. Yo, what is going on, guys? It is your boy Ferro, and today we're going to be looking at the true bounties of the Warlords, past and current ones. So we'll be looking at Doflamingo, Mihawk, and all of those guys. We also know their current bounty is frozen because they became allies with the world government. Therefore, their bounty stops increasing. So the bounties of the Warlords we see as of right now does not reflect the true weight of said individual. Again, we're not going to be talking about active bounties like Jinbei, Law, and Blackbeard. Blackbeard, we don't even know what his bounty is, but it's currently active. So we're going to use what we see in the manga and what some of these warlords have done in the past on what their current bounty would be if their bounties were still unfrozen. But first, how does the government determine how much bounty you should have? The amount of bounty is determined in response to the perceived threat of the criminal in question. The greater the threat to the world, the greater the bounty. So it involves things like the individual's fighting capabilities to how many allies one may have. So these are just one of the many factors we have to take into consideration. And to give you an example, Oda mentioned in an SBS that if Eno were to descend the Blue Sea, his bounty would be 500 million just based on the power and the potential of the Gorogoro no Mi. But first, we're going to start with Buggy. Buggy right now has a bounty of 15 million. It's frozen, but even though I know Buggy is kind of like a troll, he should definitely have a higher bounty. Now, there's three major factors when it comes down to Buggy: his allies, origin, and history. His allies being the prisoners that he escaped with from Impel Down, and now he also has a bunch of giants on his crew. He's also good friends with Shank, who is a Yonko that is feared. Now, for the origin aspect, Buggy is a known former crew member of the Roger Pirates along with Shanks, so that alone would be a huge deal to the Navy and the government. Being a part of the Pirate King's immediate crew is bad news for the war government. And history-wise, Buggy alongside Luffy, Jinbei, and Crocodile escaped Impel Down, which is the second in its history, and aided the Whitebeard Pirates against their fight against the Navy. And with that, I would give Buggy a bounty of 250 million berry bounty. Then we have Boa Hancock, and her first and current bounty was 80 million. When it comes down to Boa, there's two major things that I would take into consideration. That would be an individual power and her being the queen of a warrior kingdom. Now, Boa is incredibly strong. I would say she's way stronger than pre-time skip Luffy, who had a bounty of 300 million. Not sure about right now, but that alone would put her on at least 300 million. She's also one of the few in the series to have King's Haki. You know, even the fleet admiral Sengoku vouches for her. And the other big factor would be she rules over a kingdom of strong Haki users. So she has a powerful fleet to use at her disposal, and there are about at least 1,000 people in the Kuja tribe that follows her, and her two sisters are also strong Haki users. They're a lot similar to the Ming tribe, or about equal. But overall, I'll give Boa Hancock a bounty of 800 million. If you walk on Boa, you're not just walking off to Boa, you're walking off to the entire Kuja tribe. At number 2, we have Boa Hancock. Then we have Gecko Moria. Now, with Gecko Moria, we don't really have much to say about him due to the fact that he doesn't have too much on his name at this point in the story. One thing we know is that he did fight with Kaido in the past, and they were rivals at some point, but we do know Kaido crushed him and killed his entire crew, so that definitely puts him apart from Kaido, and he wasn't really on Kaido's level. He was also judged to be too weak for the Warlord position, but apart from that, we can only base him by his individual powers and the small crew he has. His bounty was frozen at 320 mil, but right now I would give the current Moria a bounty of 400 million. Again, not too much to say about him. A bit lackluster pre-time skip, but that's pretty much it for Gecko Moria. Then we we have Edward Weevil. Now the only thing we know about Weevil right now is that he's aiming on taking out the remnants of the Whitebeard pirates, specifically Marco. Right now he's single-handedly taking out 15 or more allied captains, and his main target is Marco. We also know that he had a bounty of 480 mil before it was frozen and became a warlord between the 2-year time skip. The main thing we can use to evaluate Weevil's bounty would be his individual strength. Now Kizaru mentioned that they have no idea where Weevil came from, well, which kind of makes it seem like he was just someone who just recently became famous, or someone who just started getting a bad reputation as a pirate. But one thing is clear, Weevil is stated to be as strong as a young Whitebeard in terms of physical strength, which is crazy. And he's also someone who plans on taking on Marco, basically, you know, right hand Yonko level, so he definitely has to be a monster in battle. But as of right now, I would give Weevil a bounty of 750 mil for his power that was compared to a young Whitebeard. Moving on to Crocodile. Now when it comes down to individual known as Crocodile, there's a couple of different factors we have to take into consideration. The first thing would be his attempt to possibly find and use an ancient weapon, Pluton, which is forbidden to learn about, and it's also one of the powers that has the abilities to destroy the world, as he wanted it for military might, you know, after like Whitebeard defeated him in the New World. But at the age of 30, Crocodile was shown in the newspaper, which means he became so much of a threat to the world government that they had to show him on the newspaper, which could be when he received his first bounty, and that highly hints that he was one of the first individuals in the series to be chosen as a warlord, and one of the earliest members too. And his old bounty was 81 million, and that was from like 20 plus years ago. But apart from that, Crocodile alongside Luffy, Jinbei, and Ivankov escaped out of Impel Down and also assisted the Whitebeard pirates during the war against the Navy. He also made his return to the New World and is probably back to his old self. You also have to remember he's one of the few Logias in the series, and he knows quite a bit about devil fruits. A lot of people speculate that he's awakened, which makes sense given the fact that he said he mastered his fruit to perfection. So as far as individual strength goes, Crocodile is definitely strong. I would say he's around Yonko commander level as of right now. And when Luffy was jailed in Impel Down, Luffy was imprisoned at level 5 just with a bounty of 300 million, while Crocodile was imprisoned at level 6 with a bounty of 81 million, which highly indicates that Crocodile's true bounty is definitely above that of 300 million pre-time skip. But for Crocodile, I would give him a bounty of 650 million post-time skip. Then we have Kuma, Dragon's former right hand and a commander of the Revolutionary Army. Now Kuma's former bounty was 296 million. My basis for Kuma's current bounty would be his individual strength, as Kuma doesn't seem like an individual that goes around to kill people, but Kuma owns one of like the most hacks devil fruits in the series, which gives him the ability to repel all things. But as far as Kuma goes, he hasn't really done anything worthy to receive a massive increase. But for now, I would have Kuma with a bounty of 600 million, even though I think it should be more, but that's pretty much it for Kuma. Then we move on to Mihawk. Just like Kuma, Mihawk's bounty is going to be mostly based off his individual strength too. Having the title of the world's strongest swordsman means a lot, and being the former rival of a current Yonko is definitely something to be afraid of. Given Mihawk's personality, he barely has any traits that would make you call him a pirate, apart from his free-willed nature, so the threat to the government would be more based on his ability as a fighter. And in this case, I would give Mihawk a bounty of 1.3 billion, and that's just based off his fighting capabilities. Finally, we have Don Quixote, Doflamingo, Dofi. Now Dofi is all over the place. Now strength wise, Dofi is one of the strongest characters we've seen so far, most likely along the line of the 3 top commander of Yonko's crew, and he's also the only confirmed awakened devil fruit user with King's Haki in the series as of right now, so his fighting capabilities are definitely high tier. Now influence wise, Dofi was essentially the king of the underworld. We know the whole situation and how he traded smiles, weapons to buyers around the world. Dofi had a lot of backers that supported him. History wise, Doflamingo, being a former celestial dragon, knew the national treasure of Marijoa, which was said to be so important that if people actually knew it existed, it would have a global effect, and he used that as leverage against the world nobles or the celestial dragons. So he's basically the only character in One Piece that has the celestial dragons in check, basically. Apart from that, he overthrew the kingdom of Dressrosa and made the former citizens of the nation work for 10 years and basically tricked the world government into thinking that he saved the country. With that, I can definitely give Doflamingo a bounty of 1.4 billion berry. Now let's summarize. Buggy, 250 million, Boa Hancock 800 million, Moria 400 million, Weevil 700 million, Crocodile 650 million, Kuma 600 million, Mihawk 1.3 billion, Doflamingo 1.4 billion. So that's pretty much it, guys. What do you guys think? Comment down below. Like the video if you liked it. Subscribe for more One Piece content on my channel. It is Ferro, and I will see you guys later. Peace.